Ladies and gentlemen, we are slowly coming to the end of our meeting, but we need to hear first one quite essential gentleman, and one guy who is guilty for all this. The representative of WHO. You mentioned, Councillor Tian, the importance of WHO in the fight against this pandemic, and Dr. Ivanuša is going to tell us more about how today multilateralism and WHO can contribute to fight this pandemic. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, colleagues and friends. Yes, I am representing the specialized agency of the UN, and for that reason I will try to be as practical and technical to provide additional insights into multilateralism. And I will not start with COVID-19 to disappoint you. In 2008, the Commission on Social Determinants of Health concluded in its final report the striking. It finished the report with a striking statement. Social injustice is killing people on a grand scale. We have heard several statements today, this morning, on equity, how important it is. And believe me, not much has changed since that report was published. Instead of closing the gap, the situation has deteriorated in many areas, not only between the countries, but also within countries. This is also visible during the COVID-19 pandemic. Some countries with well-developed surveillance system already reported dramatic inequalities in mortality between different ethnic or social groups within the country. What we want to see is better health and well-being for all as an equal human right. Promotion of health equity is essential to sustainable development and to better quality of life and well-being for all, which in turn can of course contribute to peace and security. I believe you know better what quarantine means than social determinants of health, and let me say, okay, quarantine, ladies and gentlemen, it originates from quarantena, which is the Venetian language, and means 40 days, because this is due to the 40-day isolation of ships, which was much worse than today's 2 weeks. And it was enforced as a measure of disease prevention related to the plague. And the disease killed approximately 1/3, 30% of European population in the 14th century. So even in the past, obviously, health was a very important issue, and even at that time, in a way, they were in need for a multilateral organization to preserve trade, international trade, and of course to preserve health as such. There were many WHO precursors, but I will only mention 3 of them. In 1843, the Egyptian Quarantine Board was established. In 1902, Pan-American Sanitary Bureau was established in Washington, and in 1922, Hygiene Organization of the League of Nations in Geneva was established, and we have heard about the League of Nations already today. The World Health Organization was officially established in 1948 when the Constitution came into force. It's a directing and coordinating authority for health within the UN system, as I said before. The organization is governed by governing bodies, the World Health Assembly being the ultimate one, and it was the World Health Assembly endorsing the 13th General Program of Work covering the period of 2019 till 2023, indicating 3 main priority areas: promoting health of populations, achieving universal health coverage, and addressing health emergencies. Health emergencies have been of crucial importance for the organization for several years, much before COVID-19 appeared. On the other hand, not much more than 20% of the budget of the organization is secured from the assessed contributions by the member states, while approximately 80% of the budget is represented by voluntary donations, usually provided by the government. So usually it's the same source, but also additional donors. As I talk money, in the last years, the budget of the organization was around $2 billion per year. For comparison, this is like annual budget of a well-established medical center, for example, Charity Hospital in Berlin, Germany. And for comparison, the annual budget of the US Center for Disease Control is about $11 million. Just to understand the limitations we have as an organization. We have many policy instruments in place, like conventions, for example, Framework Convention on Tobacco Control, but also regulations, international health regulation, for example. This is legally binding document, and it clearly defines procedures how to work together for global health security. Every month, WHO detects around 3,000 signals of potential public health threats, but the world actually knows only a few of them. So far, since the last version of the International Health Regulation has been endorsed, 6 public health emergencies of international concern have been declared by WHO, and the last one was COVID-19 in January this year. So when we talk COVID-19, what is the timeline of the recent pandemic? On 31st of December last year, WHO's Epidemic Intelligence System picked up a report about a cluster of cases of pneumonia of unknown cause in Wuhan, China. The following day, the WHO Incident Management Support Team was activated to coordinate the response. On 5th of January, after we have checked the first information, we shared detailed technical information through the event information system, meaning that we informed all member states to take precautions to reduce the risk of acute respiratory infections. On 10th of January, the first set of comprehensive package of guidance to help countries was released. And on 30th of January, the Director General declared a global public health emergency, which is the highest level of alarm, because technically we don't declare pandemic. So what we declared was the global health emergency, and it was on 30th of January, when less than 100 cases were known outside China and no deaths after China. Today, there are more than 30 million cases of COVID-19 globally, and more than 1 million people died due to COVID-19. Without doubt, this pandemic is changing the world. But the choice, ladies and gentlemen, is ours, how this world will be changed, for the worse or for the better. And for that, I can only call you for more unity and more solidarity. Because in multilateral world, this is how we can improve it. Thank you very much.
So, 3 words. New one today. First, with Madame Jacques, we spoke about grievance. Then we spoke about development with Ambassador Ajoueli. And now we are speaking about solidarity. Thank you very much, Mr. Ivanuša.